All right, we're back, and I know it's been a little while, but today we're going to be talking about something that I am really excited for, which is college football season and the new 12-team playoffs. This is something I haven't really thought about until recently, and I've started to dive deep into what exactly this 12-team playoffs is going to look like, and it's pretty interesting. It's a lot more than I thought it would be. I've grown up my whole life watching college football. I'm a huge Alabama football fan. I'm from Alabama. So college football is really a staple around here. So I grew up watching the era of where it was just the two teams in the national championship. Then it elevated to the 4-team college football playoffs. Now we're at the 12-team college football playoffs. And I have a little bit of a mixed opinion about this. I think there's some good, some bad, and we're going to dive deep into that today. So how does the 12-team playoff affect college football season? Is it better than the 4-team? Should they have changed it to a different amount of teams, like 6, 8? I've got a few thoughts, so let's talk about it. So I'm still not super familiar with it all, but I have a printed out piece of paper here. I'll throw it up on the screen of what the rules and everything looks like. I'm just going to read off of it for a little bit, and then we'll discuss each little point. So starting off, it says the 12 participating teams will be the 5 conference champions ranked highest by the College Football Playoff Committee, plus the next 7 teams highest ranked. So this is interesting, and from what I've gathered, it sounds like the 5 conferences they're talking about are the ACC, the SEC, the Big 10, the Big 12, and a group of 5 conference winner. So let's just take last year, for example. You have the ACC winner, who would have been, I think, Clemson. I could be wrong about that. The SEC winner, which was Alabama. The Big 10 winner, which was Michigan. And then the Big 12 winner, which was Texas. And then the highest group of 5 team to win their conference, I think, was Liberty. So those would have been your 5 automatic conference champion teams if this format would have been in place last year. And then you rank the next 7 just based off of what they have been ranking it, which was who's the best teams, the eye test, just stuff like that. It doesn't have to be a conference champion. So right off the bat, I kind of like this because to me it rewards winning your conference, which especially in the ACC, SEC, Big 12, Big 10, that's not easy to do. So rewarding conference champions with giving them a high seed and potentially a bye, in my opinion, is going to be those 4 conference champions who are going to get the top 4 seeds. I don't think it's going to be ever super likely that the group of 5 conference champion gets into the top 4 unless one of those 4 big conferences, if they are conference champion, just has a really bad dull year and they're like a 3-loss team or something like that. And also this is interesting. So like the group of 5 winner, for example, wouldn't be seated at number 5. They could be seated anywhere from 5 to 12, which is interesting. So what I've gathered so far is that the 4 best record conference winners will get the top 4 seeds, and then whoever that 5th team is gets an automatic playoff spot, but not an automatic like seed, like not an automatic 5 or whatever. They can still be placed anywhere from 5 to 12. So this sets up a lot of questions. One of them for me is having the 4 seed even worth it? Because the 4 seed will most likely be playing that 5 seed, who will be the best team in college football that isn't a conference champion, most likely. But let's just say, for example, Alabama wins the SEC. They're number 1. Then you have Michigan and Clemson and whoever. So let's just say the Big 12 conference winner is the one at the 4 seed. They could be playing someone like Georgia, a dominant team, but they only might have had 1 loss throughout the whole year or something like that. So it's little things like that I'm still kind of confused about, but for the most part, I honestly love the 12-team playoffs. I didn't like it at first because to me it was just kind of like, do we really need 12 teams that are probably just going to end up getting beat, and then we'll get to the 4 that we had originally? But I think it creates some cool situations. Like last year, for example, there was a lot of people calling for Georgia to be in the playoffs, for Florida State to be in the playoffs. Now those things won't be an issue anymore now that we have 12 teams, and to me it gives more teams a reason to play harder, because like with 4 teams in the playoffs, it made room for the 1 loss, and your season could be done in terms of playing for a championship. Now we don't have that, and I really like that, because to me 1 loss shouldn't define whether you are out of championship contention, because there's been several times where we've had a team with 1 loss or maybe even 2 losses, but they really deserve to still be playing for a championship. So those kind of teams will have a spot in the playoffs now, which I like that. So how the format works is the 4 best teams get a bye, and then 5 will play 12, 6 will play 11, 7 will play 10, and 9 will play 8. So that'll be 4 play-in type games. I don't know what they're called. They're calling it the first round. I just looked at my sheet of paper. It's called the first round. So you have the first round, the quarterfinals, the semifinals, and the national championship. The first round will be hosted by whoever the top seed is. So let's say 8 seed Utah hosts 9 seed Oregon or something like that. I have no idea. Utah would host Oregon at their stadium for the first round game. To me, that is really cool. I love the idea of colleges hosting a playoff game on their campus. To me, that would create so much hype and so much build, and it'll draw massive attention to these colleges. It'll be really cool to see some of these smaller colleges that might not have had a chance to even be in a playoff game. Now all of a sudden they're hosting a playoff game, which is really cool to see. And just my personal thought, if Alabama gets into the one of those 5 through 8 seeds and they're hosting in Tuscaloosa, you already know I'm going to be there. It's going to be such a fun environment. So looking at this sheet of paper, one of those games will be on December 20th on a Friday, and then the other 3 will be Saturday, December 21st. So those games are really middle of bowl season, which brings me to another point. It creates more hype throughout the month of December for college football, because a lot of times when we had the 4-team playoffs, it was a lot of just not exciting bowl games until we really got to like December 29th or 30th or whatever, and then things started to really pick up. Things are going to be picking up quick this year when we have the first round in that mid-December range. So after the first round, we'll move on to the quarterfinals, and those will be on December 31st and January 1st, and those will be bowl games. So for example, this year, it'll be the Fiesta Bowl, the Rose Bowl, the All-State Sugar Bowl, and the Peach Bowl. And then we'll move on to the playoff semifinals, which will get down to just the 4 teams, what we've been used to. That'll be the Capital One Orange Bowl and the Cotton Bowl. And then those games will be played on January 9th and 10th, and the championship will be played on the 20th. So that's another cool thing that I like. This extends college football season almost to February, which is really cool. We get more college football. Why not be happy about that? So to me, I didn't like this at first, but I've really grown to like it. To me, it just gives more teams a chance at winning a championship. It eliminates the whole idea of one loss and you're out, which I also really like. And I think it's also going to create a lot of more hype, and it's going to make bowl season in December a lot more fun for college football. So those are just kind of my overall thoughts. I'm going to be making a separate video about my predictions for college football playoffs. I'm going to rank 1 through 12, give my reasons why. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. The next couple of months, this channel is going to be heavy with football content, college and NFL, and I really can't wait. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I think college football season is going to be really fun. There's a lot of teams that I think can make a really big run this year. To me, it's not one set in stone team like it has been in some years past with Georgia, Alabama. I really think it could be a couple of different teams, and I'll dive deep into that when I make my actual predictions video. And when it's time to come back and make that predictions video, we'll come back and we'll talk about it.